Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this session. Greetings from Mercy Technologies. So, this is the second day we are conducting this webinar. I thank Islamic College and management and the professors for giving this opportunity for conducting this 3 days seminar. So I thank you, everyone. So, greetings from Mercy Technologies. As part of today's session, we'll be doing hands-on with Hibernate. So I just would like to give brief introduction about me. Like myself, Sashi, I'm currently working in a product-based organization. From the past 8 years, I am working in Bangalore, and I have worked with the different organizations like Capgemini, ITC, Verifone, and few of the startups. Currently, in the current company, I am handling 3 projects. I am leading a team of 12 members, and I often give like this seminars to the companies. I'm a corporate trainer, and also I used to go to colleges for giving the seminars, to conduct workshops, and also we are having placement oriented trainings for the college students, so that once when they are completing it, for them it is easy to get the job. We'll be giving the technical training, 1 or 2 months training, and also along with that we'll be mentioning how to attend the interviews, technical rounds, group discussions, managerial rounds, and HR discussions. So from Mercy Technologies, we are doing all this effort. So let's dive deeper. So what's our plan today? As part of today's session, we are going to see about Hibernate. This is very one of the important current booming technology in the IT industry. So we will see first how to download all the necessary softwares, how to perform installation, and we will see overview of JDBC, and what are the drawbacks it has, and why companies are going for ORM framework, and we will see detailed explanation about Hibernate, why IT companies are going with Hibernate framework when they are going with the new project. Finally, we will go with hands-on. So we will go little faster today because we need to do we plan to experiment many programs today. So let's dive deeper. So these are the 5 topics we are going to see today. So first one is installation of required softwares. For today's session, there can be many softwares we need to install. So those are like Java, Eclipse, MySQL database, Hibernate framework, and Maven build tool. So I trust all the professors and students you will be having software about Java, how to download and install. Might be in your local machines you'll be having it. In case if you don't know how to install Java, Eclipse and all, please feel free to let me know after the session. You can message me, WhatsApp me, so that I can share you the details. So and also, like, we will see how to install MySQL database. For installation may take more time, around 20 minutes to 30 minutes. So for that purpose, what I have done it, I have already installed all the softwares. All the softwares are readily available, but I have provided, I will be providing you the document. So professors will be providing you the document for installation document. Later point of time, you can refer it and you can install it. Let's get started. So I have documented how to, install the necessary software. So I have mentioned, like, already Java and Eclipse, we no need to worry about it because these are basic softwares. And let's see how to go with MySQL download and installation. So you can go to Google and you can just search MySQL for Windows. So this will be the first link. You can click it. When you are clicking it, so there is a website dev.mysql.com, downloads installer. Here you can go and select the second option. You are seeing the second option, right? I have highlighted it. So you can go with the second option. So when you are clicking it, it will be asking you to log in or sign up. Okay, so if you are new to this website, you can sign up, you can give your email ID. This is only one time process. After signing up, you will be redirecting to download site. If you are already a member, you can just log in. So once if you sign up or log in, it will be asking you your username and password. So your email ID and password, whatever registration you have done it. Upon successful registration, it will be redirecting you to the download page. Here you will be finding download now option. So once you click it, it will be downloaded in your local machine, right? Here I have mentioned, the icon here, MySQL installer. Here it is, downloaded. This is how you can download it. Everyone understood how to download the MySQL software? Could you please reply? This is very high level, but when you are downloading, it may take some more time. So I'll be sharing this document. Yeah, thanks for your reply. Now, once download is success, I mean, you can go through the document. Here you'll be finding I have given clear steps. You can go through it. You'll be getting it. No need to worry about it. In case, if you have any doubts, you can contact me. Let's see how to perform installation. Okay. So we have downloaded the MySQL installer, right? You can double click on this icon. So it will be redirecting. One new window will open. So here you can select developer default option. You can press next. After that, you can select standard MySQL server. Okay. Then you can press next. There will be, many windows will be coming in the middle. Simply you can press next. Then once it will be coming here, it will be asking MySQL root password, and it is asking the confirmation password. You can give the password, but please note that you should remember this password. If you forget it, again retrieving this password will be very tough. Finally, it will be start downloading and installing the necessary softwares. Once you downloaded, what we need to do, it will be asking in the next window, it will be asking the username and password. Username, you can give it as root. Root is the main username, and password you can give whatever password you have provided before. And you can click check. This is used to test the connection is fine or not. You can click this check button. Then you should be getting one green color message, something like this: connection succeeded. Once it is success, it means you have successfully installed the database. From your local machine, you could be able to interact with the MySQL server. Then you can press finish. It will start the MySQL database. So let's go to hands-on. This is how you can install MySQL software. And JDBC, it is nothing but Java database connectivity. In the beginning of Java evaluation, to make a database interaction, they have invented JDBC. JDBC is a good API. By using this, we can connect the database from our Java application. We can connect our database easily. We can perform the CRUD operations. So it enables the developers to create custom queries, insert or update or delete, whatever queries, right? All the SQL queries, developers can interact through SQL queries to MySQL database. So what are the advantages? Easily we can connect to database, and we can execute all the queries, right? And we can retrieve the results from the database. Disadvantages: there is no object relational mapping. I will come to this point later. So remaining things I will come later. So now let's get started. So after installation of our software, so what we will do, we need to open MySQL Workbench. Let me open MySQL Workbench. You can go to start button. Here you can able to see MySQL Workbench, right? You can click it. So it will take some time, to get started. Yes, it is opened. So we need to establish the connection first. You can double click on this local instance MySQL server. So it is trying to make the connection with the server. So there is, here we are getting no connection established. We are getting on error, right? No connection established. It means database is not running. So we need to start manually. So we can go to start button here. If you see, right, in system tray, here you can find it one icon here. MySQL notifier. Next to, we are having timings, volume and all, right? Here we can right click on this icon, MySQL notifier. When you are right clicking it, it will be stopped state, right? We need to press start. So when we are pressing start, it will start the database connection. Press yes. So it will establish the connection. Let's wait for some time. It takes some time. Yes, it is started. Now you should see MySQL 80 running, right? This is the status. Can everyone see this status? Could you please reply? Okay, thanks for your replies. Okay, now connection is established. What we can do is, again you can click local instance MySQL, first one, double click it. Now connection is established, right? We could able to see many databases here. So what I'm planning to do is, I want to create one database. So I'm sure, like the professors and students, you might be well aware of all the SQL queries. Let's use basic SQL queries. So there can be many numbers of databases will be there. Let's see what are the databases are available by default. Here we can write our queries. Show databases. You can select Control Enter, or you can click this execute icon. When you are running here, it is showing these are the available databases. Okay, so let's go with let's create a new database. How to create the new database? It's simple. Create database name. Let me create Mercy underscore DB. This is the database name we are giving. You can give any database name. Okay, you can give any database name. You can select, you can press this button, or you can use Control Enter. You should see result something like this. Whenever you are executing anything, you should see green button, right? Saying that this many rows affected. You are getting, right? So if you don't see any green button, if any red error message is there, it will be showing error. Okay. So this you can note it down. Now again, let's list out all the database. Now it should show MercyDB also. Here you are seeing, right, Mercy underscore DB, because we have successfully created. Now there are many number of databases, right? Which database we are going to use it? We need to select the particular database. How to select the particular database? I can go with use. What is the database name? I can say Mercy underscore DB. This is the database I'm going to use, right? This is the schema. Control Enter. See, this also got success. Now let's query, let's just see the description of this database. Disk, let's see it. Disk Mercy underscore DB. So it is, because we just created one database, we are unable to see any description. What we will do, let's create one table here. Let's create one table here. So let's go with some meaningful table name. We can create any number of tables. and always it should be, you know, better to use some meaningful names. Let's create one employee table quickly. Create table employee. Everyone knows this comes under DDL statement, right? Data definition language. Here we can give what are the columns we want. You know, I want actually 3 columns. Let's open the editor. I want one column as employee ID, another one is employee name, another one is employee salary. These are the 3 columns I need. So let's go with all these 3 columns. Let's go with ID integer. So let it be integer, comma, let's go with name. Name data type is varchar. We can go with varchar or varchar2. Let's go with varchar. Varchar. So what is the size? So how many, what is the length of the name? You can give any length. I can give 200. Finally, we'll go with one more is salary, right? Salary. You can go with, this is salary might be big digit, right? We'll go with big int. Okay. Big int. This is the SQL query, right? Now once everything fine, what we will do, we need to execute this. We need to execute this one. So let's run it. See, we got successful message. Table creation is success. What we will do, we will see what are the columns are there in this table. We can go with disk employee, description employee. Okay. We can select it, control enter. Here you are seeing, right, 3 columns, ID, name and salary. ID data type is integer, name is varchar type, string type, salary is big int. So far it is clear. Could everyone please reply? Are you following me? Are any doubts? I am requesting everyone to reply. Okay, thanks for your replies. Either you can use this MySQL Workbench or even you can use command prompt also. I will always suggest you to go with command prompt. Okay, that is the best way of writing the code, because MySQL Workbench, we will not type every time. Instead, we will copy paste. So better to go with command prompt so that we will be getting more comfortable. Each time we need to write the query, right? Each time we need to write the query. So I request, you know, in the beginning, everyone should go with MySQL command prompt. Here you are seeing, right, MySQL command line. So you can open this. You can give the password. So I have given the password as test123. This is my password. Now you are seeing the window, right? Let's see all the, let's run all the queries here. Let's run all the queries. Show databases. Yes, MercyDB is there. Let's go with, let's use MercyDB, Mercy underscore DB. Yes. Now let's see about employee table, employee. So we are getting it, right? So employee has 3 columns, ID, name and salary. So let's try to insert some value. Okay, let's try to insert into employee. We know the query, right? Insert into employee values, right? This is the insertion query. So what we are going to do, it has 3 columns. ID I am giving 100. Name I am giving with a single quote, we should give name. Let me go with Mercy. Salary I am giving some salary 20,000. That's all the insertion query. Enter it. You got one okay query. Okay, it means one row affected. We could successfully insert the query into database. Let's try to retrieve the query. We know that for retrieval we can go with select star from employee, right? It will retrieve all the records from the database. See here, we could able to get one record. Now let's try to insert multiple queries. So let's go with 200. Name as Angel. Salary, let's go with 30,000. Enter it. Let's insert few more queries. Let's go with 300. Let's go with Matthew. Let's go with 4,000, 40,000. Enter it. One more query we could successfully insert it. Let's go with one more. 400. Let's go with Samir. Let's go with 50,000. Okay. 4 records we could able to successfully insert. Let's try to retrieve all the records. Select star from employee. Could you able to see the result in my desktop? In my machine, could you able to see it? Thanks for your reply. So this is how we have created something. How we could able to create the SQL queries. SQL is nothing but structured querying language, right? So all these are like having rows and column, and by using this is the good way of executing the queries. So we can use either command prompt or we can use MySQL Workbench. Both are same. If you want, even you can select the query, select the tables here. Both are same. Here also we could able to see the results, right? Now let's go back. So instead of going back to the slide, I am trying to try to enter into this thing. In the very beginning, I mentioned like we need to install few of the softwares. One of them is MySQL. We seen it. We will see Eclipse also. We need to install. Let's open Eclipse. This is the Eclipse software. In our software companies, all the real-time projects, we always will go with Eclipse or NetBeans or IntelliJ IDEA. So IntelliJ IDE. So these and all like these are IDEs, integrated development environment. Okay, let me put it. All these are IDEs. What it means? It means integrated development environment. Okay, so Eclipse is also one of the IDE. By using this, we can easily develop projects, organizing the project, and maintaining the project will be very easy. So we can give the workspace name. When we have entered, it is trying to set up the workspace. So we will be getting one welcome page like this. So you can close the welcome page. Okay. Now you can see the view, right? May I know how many people aware of this Eclipse already? Could everyone reply? How many people aware of this Eclipse? If you don't aware of it or if you don't use it, please let me know so that I can take care of it. Okay, no issues. Few of the members they are not aware of it. Few of them they are already aware of it. That's okay. So I can teach you from the beginning. It's not the problem. So this is the view we are getting. In left side we'll be getting all the project related information. Here is the main area where we can write our code. Okay. This is it's very important in IT companies. We'll be using like this editors. Okay. So you can learn it after the session year after in your college, either professors or students. You can always use this Eclipse software whenever we are you're for lab practice. If you have Java or J2E servlets, JSP, Hibernate, or any Java related papers in your academic semester, you can always use Eclipse instead of using Notepad, compiling it manually. We can use it this, so that it will be very easy and hands-on. So we can create the new project. There are many ways. You can click this create a Java project, or you can go with file, new. First, let's see step by steps. We will see how to create the new project. How to create the new project. This is the first step. Okay. So you can go with file. You can select new. You can go with other. So there are different types of projects are there. We want to create as a Maven project. So here you could able to see, right, one project, one option called Maven project. Click it and press next. So you can simply press next, and it will be asking you to select the particular artifact. You can select anything, it doesn't matter. So what we can do is we can go with log4j. You could able to see one log4j option here, right? You can type log4j in the search box. You will be seeing here one log4j option. Right? You can select that. After that, what you can do, you can press next. Here it will be asking group ID, artifact ID, and package. Okay, group ID is nothing but simply you can give any package structure. You can give com.mercy. Here I am giving com.mercy. Artifact ID also we can give some project name. Artifact ID is nothing but some project name. What I am doing is I am giving my Hibernate. This is my project. So package you can create anything. Let me go with com.angel. This is my package. So you no need to worry about what is this, what is what. You no need to worry about it. We no need to waste our time here. Make sure you are giving something like this. Then what you can do, you can press finish. When you are pressing finish, so you can see on our right side, right? It has created some packages, something like this, right? If you see, observe in the bottom line, so it could be able to, it has created the project and it could downloaded all the dependencies. Okay. So now what I will do, let me go with, I don't want this view. You can use another perspective. Show view, you can select navigator. This will be better actually. So what I will do, let me move it here. Let's move that view here. So this is the navigator view, right? You will be seeing something like this. Okay. So we don't need all these things. We can just delete this com.package. We don't need this. I have deleted. So this is the structure of the project. It has, target all our, automatically all our .java files will be compiled and .class files will be available here. So under source directory, we'll be having Java and resources, right? Main and test. This main is for keeping all our main class. Okay. And resources is for to keep all the resources. So what we will do is, these are the basic things. So some of the few important things, there is a pom.xml, right? You can open this pom.xml. Here you will be seeing, let's increase the window. Okay, let me increase the size. File preferences, you can type font here. Okay, we can increase the font. Java editor is there, right? We can go here. I want to just increase the font. Let's make it 14. Apply. Okay. Now what we will do here, we could able to see many things, right? Whatever project name we have created, same it came here, right? We no need to worry about all these things. These are not required, not required. All these dependencies are not required. So what we can do, we can remove everything here. All these dependencies are not required. Spring Boot starter log4j only we can keep it. All the dependencies we can remove it blindly. Okay, let's remove this also blindly. When you are removing, you should be very careful. We can select up to this, remove it. Starter web also we don't need. Log4j, let it be there. Testing also it's not needed, right? And this build also we don't need. So this is very simple, right? So these are the basic things. We need only log4j. This I will tell you why we need this. Okay, let's go a little faster. We don't have time. We need to complete it. So what we are planning to do is we want to use Hibernate framework, right? So for that Hibernate framework, what you can do, you can go to Google. You can open any one of the browser. Okay. You can go to Google. You can just type Hibernate latest version MVN Maven, right? So it will be showing. You can go to the first link. So it will be showing which version you want. You can select any one of the version. Let's go with 5.4.10. 5.4.10. Can you able to see this 5.4.10? You can click this. We should download this jar file, right? This is the dependency. You can copy this. You can paste it under pom.xml. You can paste it under pom.xml. Under dependencies, you can paste it. Here if you see, this is what we copied from internet. So when we are running, what it does is it will download these dependencies. Say for example, this is the Hibernate framework. If I say in a blind way, it is Hibernate software. When I'm running this project, we no need to download manually. We no need to install, or we no need to update in our class path. Instead, why we went for Maven project? Yesterday we have seen, right? Maven. What is meant by Maven? Maven is a builder tool, right? It is used to download the necessary dependencies, building it, making the jar or war file, right? Now we have done it. Then what else we want? We want to interact with the database, right? How to interact with the database? So for interacting with the database, there can be any different types of database, Oracle, MySQL and all, right? We need to download the connector also. For connector, what we can do is we can go to the Google again if needed. So we can select the connector. I have already, have the connector version. So let me copy it. What I am doing, I'm copying the connector also. If you observe, this is the connector. This is mainly from Java application. In order to access from Java application to database, we need to make the connection, because we are not going to make the connection manually, because we are going to access through program, right? For that purpose, we need to establish the connection. For that purpose, they have exposed one separate jar called MySQL connector. We are getting, right? So this also we can keep it. When we are saving it, automatically it will download all the necessary softwares, right? Now you would be wondering where we are mentioning the database username, password and all, right? So for that purpose, what we can do, so first thing what we have seen, we have created the new project. Second step, in pom.xml, what we have done, we have downloaded Hibernate framework, right? Hibernate framework in pom.xml. We have mentioned in pom.xml what we have done, we have mentioned it. Now that step, again what we have done, we have downloaded MySQL connector, right? MySQL connector, we have seen it. This is the MySQL connector. So this actually we have downloaded, we have mentioned in the pom.xml, right? This also we have done it. Now what is our next step? We need to configure our database properties. We need to configure the database properties. We need to configure the database properties. Yes, I don't want to directly to run the application because you may not, you will understand, but when you are trying to experiment in your local machine, you will be facing many issues. First time solving is very tough actually. It takes hours or a days together. That's why I'm going with step by step. So far everyone is clear? Could you please reply quickly? Could everyone please reply? Are you following me? Okay, thank you. So what we need to do next, fourth step is we need to configure the DB properties. So for that purpose, what we are going to do, we are going to create one file. So here we are seeing our root of the project, right? This is our root of the project. Under my Hibernate, we are having SRC directory, right? Click on it. Under SRC directory, what we are doing is we are having one tab, one folder called main. Go inside, we are having one folder called resources, right? We need to create one XML file here. We need to create one XML file here. Right click on resources directory, right click on resources directory, go with new. You can go with XML here, type XML. You got XML here, right? We can give one file name. The file name should be same name, hibernate dot cfg dot xml. The file name should be hibernate dot cfg dot xml for sure. You should not use any other file name. Okay, this file is like configuration file. CFG is nothing but configuration. This is the XML configuration file which is used to define all the database properties like username, password and all. We will see. Okay, so let's go with next. Let's finish it. So it has successfully created on file. Click source. This is the successfully it has created on file. So we need to define some of the properties. I already saved those properties in my local machine. So we no need to worry. Control A, copy the properties from here. I will share you this document. You can use this document. Okay. This is the properties. You are observing it, right? This is the property. So here you could able to see all the things. Say for example, what is the username? Username we have mentioned, root is the username, right? What is the database password? Test123, right? No, we don't give any other name. Please give hibernate.cfg.xml only. If you are giving different name also you can give, but in our code we need to mention explicitly. So some more steps are required. That's why I said go with the same name. Okay. Now you can go with test123 and which driver you are going to use. This is the driver class JDBC, right? This is the JDBC driver com.mysql JDBC.driver. And what is the host? Because our application is the client. Our Java application is the client application. We are going to interact with the server. Server here is nothing but database. Correct. There can be 10 applications or 20 applications. So all the 20 applications can interact with only one server. Database will be only one. So we need to give the connection URL like JDBC, MySQL. All these properties should be same, exactly same. Mainly driver class, connection URL, and dialect, username, password. You can give whatever password you have given it. Okay, clear? Shall we go ahead? Now we are going with hands-on. We are going with hands-on now. Now we are going to create our class. Okay. Might be so far you might be boring it because these are initial setup. So we don't have any other option. Okay. So that's why. So let's create our Java program now. Right click on Java. We need to keep all our source code. Right click on Java. Go here. New. You can create one new class. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one Pojo class or entity class. Okay, employee is my entity class. So what is the package? I can give any package, com.mercy. Packages are nothing but just giving directory structure. Okay, you guys might be aware of it. By using packages, we can go with a different access level like private, protected, default, public, right? Private means within only same class we can access. Default means we can access another class also, but within same package. Protected also again same. Public means you can access from any packages, right? So that's why we are going with different packages. Click finish. Here you could able to see one directory structure is created, right? We have created successfully one Java program, right? Now if you observe, let me go to the directory structure. You can right click, go to properties, or you can go with alt enter. It will open properties, something like this. You can go to this place. Actually, this is where our program is created. If you observe, this is our new application which we have created. If you open this, same directory structure we are getting here in Eclipse, right? Can able to see here. We are getting same directory structure, right? Under SRC, what we are having? We are having main, right? Under SRC, what we are having? We are having main. Go inside main, we are having Java. Go inside Java, we are having com, right? Com, mercy, employee. This is the same structure we are seeing there, correct? This is the same structure we are seeing it. Now, if we don't use Eclipse, we need to create all the directories manually. We need to take care of everything. That's why, for first time, I mean, I always, suggest professors or students to experiment with Notepad or Notepad++ to compile it using, command prompt, because so that background, everyone can understand how to compile it, what is the command, what happens when we are compiling. Once everyone is comfortable with compiling and running using Notepad, then we can go with this IDE Eclipse. Now, this is the entity class. See, I am going to map this entity class. I have already shown you that what are the different columns we are having in database. We are having 3 columns: ID, name, and salary. Same attribute I am going to create. Let me go with, I want to make it industry perfect. Shall I go with ABCD program, or let me go with actual industry standard program? Could you guys please reply? Shall I put ABCD program or industry level programs? What we are using in IT companies? I'm waiting for your reply. Industry level programs. Okay, fine. Let's go with 3 columns. What are the 3 columns? ID, name, and salary. Here in Java, we will say 3 attributes, right? 3 fields or attributes. So private int ID. Okay. This is the first column, first attribute. Second one is private string name, right? All the attributes should be private. This is what I said, industry level, to make sure our code is, we are following the industry standards. Why we are going with the private, you might be knowing it, right? So mainly, like, we should not expose the data, right? To make it possible, right, we can achieve data security. We should not expose all the details outside the class, right? Last column we are having it salary. So let's go with private long salary. Salary can be big digit, right? So salary, we are going with long. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one constructor. How I can create constructor? Public constructor name should be same name as the class name. Everyone knows about it. I am going with argumented constructor. What is the argumented constructor? I am going with all these details, right? So let me go with ID, then name, then salary. So I'm going to initialize. How I'm going to assign this constructor values to the private instance variable? These are called instance variable, right? Or non-static variables. I'm just commenting out. These are called as instance variables because it is not having any static keyword, right? So I'm going to assign the local values to the instance variable. How I can assign? I can go with this keyword. This is used to represent current class variables, right? This dot id equal to id, this dot name equal to name, then this dot salary equal to salary, right? Done. There is no compile time error, right? There is no compile time error. Now let me try to explain you how we will use JDBC. So let's go with our one more class. Go to new class. We can create one class called client1. Let it be in the same package, client1. Press finish. So how we will create the object, everyone knows, everyone aware of it, right? This is the main method we are going for it. We will be creating employee. What is the reference name? obj1 equal to, we are going to create one object using constructor. ID is 100. Same thing I want to give here. Name is Mercy. Salary is consider whatever salary, something like 20,000. That is the Mercy salary. This is how we can create the object, right? Whenever we are creating object, new keyword is used to create the object. Whenever we are creating object in heap memory, one physical object is created. obj1 is the reference variable. Reference variable will be pointing this physical object, because in the heap memory all the objects are stored in the heap memory, right? In heap memory all the objects are stored in random order. There can be thousands of objects, but how we can reach objects? Through references. Suppose we are having 5 objects, means 5 references will be there, right? So through references we can able to access the objects. Now if you observe, second one is angel. Angel salary is 3,000. There are 2 objects are created. Both can be in anywhere. Heap memory is the physical memory available, right? So these 2 references are pointing. Now if at all I am going with the JDBC, I will not explain how to experiment here with the JDBC. Instead what I will do, I will just tell a high level what I need to do. I need to get the data from here, right? Let's create getters and setters here. It's not needed, but I'm just telling, first I need to get the ID here. Okay, let me, sorry, 1 minute. Okay, so let me get ID from here. First what I need to do, I need to get this ID, first object ID, right? First object ID I should get it from the object. I can call getters or setters, right? I can call getters. How I can call? obj1 dot get ID, so that it will give the ID. So I should be storing in my local variable, right? I will be storing in my local variable int ID. I need to segregate the data from the object. Same way I need to segregate the data from the name also. You are getting my point? Suppose employee class is having getters and setters. We can create this getters and setters here. Select all, only go with getters, right? It has created getters. Now what I will do, actually I should go with obj1 dot get ID. This will return ID. Same way like I should go with string name equal to obj1 dot get name, right? What I am trying to do, I am trying to get all the values from the object manually. We don't have any other option if you are going with JDBC. We got the value. Then what we will do, we will write 4-5 steps. JDBC dot get driver, then get connection. Then what we will do, we will form query, something like this. Same queries whatever we have experimented here. What we have experimented here, we have experimented insert query, right? This is the query, right? So what we need to do, we need to hard code it. Insert into employees, something like this. Then we need to give this ID here. Then we need to give the name here. Then we need to give the salary here. Just I am telling, this is high level. Then we need to follow all the JDBC steps. We need to insert. What is the problem here? You remember yesterday I have shared you one of the application. What is the application we have seen yesterday? In yesterday's class, we have seen that from database side, we are having issues because in database side, we are having everything in column wise, right? Everything we are having as a column. But in, Java side, what we are having? We are having everything as, you know, uh, objects, right? Everything as objects. Let's just open yesterday's presentation. This is the yesterday's presentation. So we have seen one thing. Yes. So if you observe here, everything we are having here in database side, this is called a relation, right? We will be using it as a relational database, right? Relational database. So what we are having here, relational means it has column and rows, right? Column. But what about here in Java side, we are having as object, right? If I tell you clearly, this is called object, right? So we cannot directly save this object. Instead, what we need to do, we need to extract the data from the object. We need to extract the data from the object. Please observe little closely. If you use JDBC, what we need to do, there is a mismatch between relational, right? Relation is nothing but database, and with Java side, right? That is called object, right? There is a issue between object and relation. Object is nothing but a Java side, Java application, whereas relation is nothing but, you know, uh, database side. Because database we are having as column and rows, right? But in Java side we are having as object. If at all we want to store, what we would need to do, we need to extract the data from the object. What are the disadvantage? We need to extract the data. We need to extract the data from object. Then second one, we need to form the query. Form the query. Then we need to send the query. We need to send the query to database using JDBC, right? So the calling is quite costly, very costly. Calling is costlier because we need to interact from our application to Java, right? So if you observe, the main disadvantage of database is this: there is a mismatch between object and relation, right? That's where Hibernate comes into picture. Hibernate is a ORM tool. I would like to know before proceeding. So far, everyone is clear. What is the disadvantage of JDBC? Could everyone please reply quickly? I would like to stop and to know whether everyone is in the same page or not. If any doubts, we can go ahead. Please reply quickly. We don't have time. Thanks for your reply. So what we are going to do, what is mean by ORM? Please listen little carefully. What is mean by ORM? ORM is nothing but object relational mapping. I have already said here, right? There is a problem here. What is the problem here? This is the problem. There is a mismatch between object and relation. At Java side, we are having everything is. Am I audible clear? My voice is clear. Can everyone reply? Okay. Okay, thanks. Okay, so there is a problem here. From Java side, we are having as objects, whereas in database side, we are having as, tables, rows and columns. So there is a problem here. So to solve this, ORM is invented. Industries, they invented called ORM frameworks. What is mean by ORM? ORM is the solution here. What is mean by ORM? For the above problem. What is the above problem? Above problem is there is a mismatch, right? Mismatch, or there is a issue here, right? So ORM is the, what is meant by ORM? Object relational mapping. Object Relational mapping. You would have guessed it, right? So what this ORM frameworks will do is, this actually will solve this issue. We no need to convert it. We no need to extract the data from the object. We no need to form the query. We no need to send also manually. So Hibernate is one of the ORM framework. Under ORM frameworks, there are different types of tools are there. Under ORM, there are different types of frameworks are there. One of them is Hibernate. Second one, you can say JPA, Java Persistence API. Okay. Third one, you can say Spring Data JPA. All are using ORM is the concept. ORM, if you ask me, ORM is the concept. Okay, it is an idea, right, to solve this issue. So by using that idea, different companies, they have developed their own softwares. Hibernate open source community, they developed a software called Hibernate. JPA, Java Persistence API. Spring company, Spring Industry, they developed one thing called Spring Data JPA. Everyone is clear? Quick reply. What is ORM? Why we need ORM? The main advantage nowadays, no one is using nowadays no one is using JDBC, because there are, if you observe, there are 20-30 disadvantages are there. If you go with JDBC, it will be very slow, caching is the problem, right? But if you go with Hibernate, it will resolve all this issue. I cannot explain all the 20-30 advantages. You can go through it. In case if you want doubt, then we can experiment later, because we don't have time. Okay, shall we continue? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use Hibernate. Now let me quickly go through the slide. Let me quickly go through the slide. Let me quickly go through the slide. Now you would have observed, why we are going with different things. So we have seen it. What is the JDBC? What are the drawbacks? Here we have seen, like, there is no object relational mapping, right? This is the main drawback, disadvantage. So what is about ORM? ORM is nothing but object relational mapping. So it is a program technique, right? This is the technique. By using this, what we can do, we can connect the application with the database easily. Then Hibernate is one of the ORM tool, right? So it is solving the problem between the application as well as relational database. So this is used to solve the issue between object oriented classes from the application and also from the database, right? We are clear now. That's why I promised I will tell you everything later. Now let's go back to here. Now we are going with hands-on with Hibernate. Now we are going with hands-on with Hibernate. Okay. Now let's go ahead. So what we are going to do, there are few steps are required. Okay. These are the few steps we need to follow to connect with the Hibernate. Only one time process. First, we need to get the session factory. Session factory. So you can press Control Alt. It will be imported. Always import from org.hibernate. There is a org.hibernate here option is there, right? Double click it. It will be imported, right? This is from Hibernate framework. How we got this session? This is already developed by, by Hibernate developers. You remember we have downloaded one Hibernate jar file. If you observe here, right, we have kept one dependency org.hibernate, right? This is the jar file which we have downloaded. You would like to know where it is downloaded? Whenever we are going with pom.xml, it will be downloaded in our M2 repository, right? Maven will be using M2 repository. You can go with users. Under your user, there will be user. So here you'll be finding .m2 repository. If you use Spring application, or if you use Maven based application, you'll be seeing this kind of structure. All the jar files will be downloaded in your .m2 repository. Here if you observe, it's very simple, no need to worry. org.hibernate, you just go with org.hibernate. org.hibernate, go here, you will find here one directory called org. Here you will be finding Hibernate, right? If you observe, inside this you could able to see core, right? core. It has downloaded today. You could able to see the date also, right? 10th 7, right? You could able to see the date. Who downloaded this? When we are running the project Maven, we have kept inside build.xml, right? Inside, sorry, pom.xml. If you are using Ant, then it is build.xml. If you are going with Maven, then it is pom.xml. So we have mentioned here in pom.xml. When we are saving this application, automatically it will compile it. Then it will download all the dependencies. MySQL jar also it has downloaded, right? So inside hibernate.core, if you observe, so we downloaded 5.4.10, right? 5.4.10. 5.4.10. So now if you observe, someone is using my screen. Please don't use the screen. Someone is drawing it. Kindly don't use the screen. It is disturbing me. So 5.4.10, right? Here you will be seeing 5.4.10. If you go inside, this is the jar file. Inside this jar file, they developed already by using Java. Yesterday I said you one thing, right? Yesterday I said one thing that, by using, Java only they developed Hibernate framework. You can open this jar or you can extract it. You can use it, WinRAR. If you go inside org Hibernate, there is a session, if you observe the package structure here, org Hibernate session factory, right? There is a class called session factory. Can everyone see this class? org.hibernate.session factory. Here, session factory.class. Can everyone see it? Who developed these classes? Already Hibernate developers, they developed it. For us, it is very easy. We no need to worry about anything. What we can do? We can simply use that. That's all. You are getting my point. So just to give thumbs up, I have said this. Okay. Now I'm going to create session factory. Let me go it quite faster. We don't have time. So what we are going to do? We are going to use new configuration. Again, configuration you can go with hibernate.org.configuration.configure build session factory. We can go with multiple steps also, but I'm going with single step. In single step only what we are doing, all these are in single step, right? We can create separate configuration, we can call configure method, everything we can do. But what I am trying to do, I am doing everything in single step only. Here I'm just creating one session factory, right? We need to create one session factory. For creating the session factory, we need to go with, all the steps. Creating session factory, right? Once we create the session factory, the next step is we need to create the session. How to create the session? It is simple. Creating the session. How to create the session? We can go with session. Again, you can import it. Okay, these are the inbuilt classes. JDK developers developed it. It is there inside org.hibernate package. Okay, our class is there in com.mercy package. Same way they have mentioned org.hibernate. Now session, we can give one reference name, right? Session equal to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one session object here. How I can go with factory dot open session. We can go with factory dot session, open session. We have created the session. What is the third step? We need to create the transactions. Why we need to create transaction? We need to interact with the database, right? One record if you are inserting, that is called a transaction, right? If you are performing, if you are inserting or updating or deleting or retrieving, that is called transaction in database point of view, right? So we need to create transactions. How to create the transaction? Again, they developed one class called the transaction. Under org.hibernate, they have developed one thing called transaction. Let me go with a tx dot session dot begin transaction. Let me remove this. I am going to remove this. Okay. Let me see in hibernate.cfg.xml. Okay, I am going with create. Let me delete our tables. Let me delete our tables. How to delete the tables? It's simple. We can drop the table, right? Simply I want to drop the table. Drop table, table name. Right? It's simple, right? How we can go for it? How we can go for it? It is like drop table. Table name is nothing but employee. See, now if you query the table, you will not get, it will show error. This table does not exist. It means table is not there. You are getting my point? We have deleted the table. Now what we are going to do, we are not going to create anything now. Now what we are going to do, that's all we have done. So in hibernate.cfg.xml, we mentioned hibernate.hbm to ddl.auto create. If you mention this property, it will create the table also. So it will check what is the entity name. One more important point, in order to make this class as entity, we need to map this class with table, right? Here employee is a class name, but in database side we are having one table, right? We need to map it. How to map it? It is very simple. How to map it? It is very simple. We need to make it as entity, at entity annotation. This is called annotation. We can go with at entity. Can you able to see javax dot persistence entity? This is from Hibernate itself. This is from JPA. So you should go with this at entity. It is mandatory. At entity is mandatory. And always we know that when we are going with some kind of any table, there should be primary key, right? Employee ID cannot be duplicated. All the employee IDs should be unique. So we need to make it as primary key. It's very easy. You will be enjoying this class, because we no need to generate one big query, create table, table name, primary key, foreign key, relationship and all. We no need to worry about it. We can just again import ID here. Entity means, that's what I said, you no need to worry too much in depth. That's what I said. In database we are having one employee table, right? Inside employee table, what are the columns we are having? We are having ID, name, salary. Same way I want to map inside employee class also. We are having attribute as ID, name and salary, 3 attributes, right? I am planning to design this class as employee table. According to employee table, I am designing this class. Everyone is clear? I am designing this employee class according to employee table. To tell to the Hibernate saying that, hey, this is employee class. This class is associated with employee table. This class is associated with employee table. Make relationship with employee table. That's why we are going with at entity. Everyone is clear why we are going with at entity? We are going with at entity mainly to mention a database side. We are having employee table. We want to make sure the class is becoming exactly as employee table. Everyone is clear? Thanks for your replies. And one more thing, then you will be asking question, hey, why we are not mentioning any columns? ID, name, do we need to mention column or something? It is internally, it's not required, but if you want, you can go with at column annotation also there. You are getting my point? We can explicitly mention all the columns, something like this, at column and all. You are getting? We are having one more column, right? Salary. This is optional, but it is not mandatory. By default, Hibernate will understand whatever fields we are having. It is by default all our columns. Let me delete columns. I want to make this program as very simple. Okay, I don't want this getters and setters also. Okay, simply for now the class is very clean, right? But here at ID is important. At ID, why we are using at ID? It is simple, because I said, right, we need to make this ID as primary key. Primary key means it will not allow duplicate values, right? And also it will not allow null values also, right? Clear everyone about this entity class? This is called entity class. This is exactly, could you please reply everyone? So far everyone is clear? Requesting professors to give permission up to 11:45. Is that fine if I take up to 11:45? I need some more time. Okay, thanks. Thank you, sir. So everyone is understood, right? Now what I'm going to do, beauty, you will understand the beauty now. See, we don't have any, table in our database. I have deleted it. Okay, I have deleted it. We don't have any tables, right, in under mercy_db. If I select again, it will throw error. It will show table does not exist. Now I no need to create any tables. Now what I do, that's all I am done. Okay, what I'm going to do, these are the 3 steps we need to follow. Okay, creating the session factory. From the session factory, what we can do, we can create the session is lightweight. Okay, I cannot to explain everything I may need 2 hours, so we don't have time. That's why I'm going with little faster. You don't worry about this, just understand these are the basic steps to connect with the database. First we need to create the session factory. Then once we have the session factory, by using session factory object, we can create the session object. Then once we have the session object, we can create the transaction object, right? We can get the transaction. Now what we are going to do, we are having our first employee object, right? Let me create one different object, 500. Let's go with any of the people who are attending our session, live session. Yeah, there is a okay, Zamir sir is there. Okay, let me give his name. Zamir, he is a professor. He works with Islamic College. Let me give it Zamir. Consider I am putting some salary. Don't bother about it. I am just putting some salary. This is the first object we have created it. Now what we are going to do is, I need to store this object into database, right? How to store? It is simple. How to store? It is simple. We can use, session dot save. There is a method called session dot save. We can pass the reference. That's all. This is how we can save the object. Then finally, we are committing this into this one, right? Actually, what we are doing here, storing the data to database, right? If I say storing the record or object, I can say storing the object. That object is nothing but Zamir, right? So we are storing that record into database. We can use session.save. Finally, this is one transaction. We have started one transaction, right? We have begin transaction method we used. We need to close the transaction. We should not allow the connection between database to application always. Immediately we should close the transaction. Okay, or else any data loss will happen. So what I will do, we can commit the transaction. What we are doing here we are committing the transactions, transaction, right? That's all we are done. Now what we will do, we will simply run this program. Observe it. There is no there is no table here. There is no table. We are getting error here. Table does not exist. Let me run it. Right click, run as Java application. We are having some error. Let's try to run it. See the output. We are used logger file. I request everyone to go through the output little carefully. Can everyone go through this? This is very important to understand it. What happened? It checked, is there any employee table? If any employee table is there, what it does? It is dropping the table. We use a drop table name, right? Drop table employee. First it is dropped it. Then what happened? It is trying to create a new employee table. See here in the second line. Can I copy this log files and put it into one notepad so that we can, get it clearly? I will just copy that and I am putting into one notepad. So observe little carefully. This is very, very important. Very important. Okay. If you observe very carefully, it has created the connection here in JDBC and all. If you use internally Hibernate using JDBC, Hibernate internally it is using the JDBC. If you observe it, it is used the driver. This is the driver, right? It is used the driver and the connection URL is, this is the connection URL. The database is MercyDB. Where it is got all these details, where it got all this driver information and the JDBC URL and all, it is simple. You can go to the Hibernate .cfg.xml. Here we have given, right, the driver details as well as the database details, right? We have given mercy_db, right? Now this is done. So username and password also it has taken. It checked whether any table is there or not. If any table is there, it is dropping the table, dropping the schema. Again, it is recreating it. See here, who created this table? It's simple. Who created this table? Can you observe this query? Create table, table name, ID integer not null, name varchar 255, salary begin null. See, up to primary key. We did not form this query. Can everyone able to understand? Could you please reply everyone? Could you please reply everyone? Have you understood? Who is creating this? All the queries and all, everything is created by Hibernate. We no need to worry about it. Then if you observe, insert also it's happening. Who is doing it? Hibernate. How he is inserting? Who is creating this query? It is simple. Insert into employee, whatever object, inside object, what object we add? Inside object we add three details, right? Three details. One is like ID as 500, name as Zamir, salary as 50,000, right? So it has inserted successfully. If you want, we can go through database again. We'll go through database again. Let's run the same query again. Select star from employee. Run it. Can you able to see the output? Everyone, can you reply quickly? Can you able to see the output clearly? Have you understood? What is the main benefit of database? What is the main benefit of Hibernate? When we are going with, what is the advantage? Same thing if you want to do, what are the things we need to do in JDBC? It is very tough, right? It's not that much easy at all. We need to do many things. Main thing is, as I mentioned in one of the notepad, where is that notepad? 1 minute. One of the notepad, we have seen that we need to extract the data. Suppose you are having 1,000 objects. All the 1,000 objects we need to call. Suppose in one table there can be 20 or 30 columns. For one record only we need to write 20 lines of code. If 1,000 records means 1,000 into 20, right? 20,000 lines will be extra. Then we need to form the query. Insert query we need to form. Then we need to send it, right? But here it is simple. If you are using Hibernate, it is very simple or not? So first thing we need to only create this. Then we need to enter it. Then we can just call save method. We can commit the transaction. That's all. It's simple. Hibernate, if you use only 2 steps. Session.save, session.tx.commit. Only 2 steps. That's all. This and all one-time work. In entire application, we will be creating only once this, right? There can be hundreds of tables will be using this, right? Let me go with one more thing. Let me create one more person, 600. Let's go with one more name as, consider, let's go with one more professor is there. His name is Govindaraj, right? Let's go with Govindaraj. Okay, consider his salary also, something like that. Okay. So now let's run again. Listen little carefully. When I am running it, what happens? Again, it is executing same queries. Again, it is dropping the table. We are losing the data. Again, it is inserted. second data. Let's just go and query the table again. If you observe, second time we have only 600, only one record. Previous record got deleted. This is how we can interact with the database. Suppose if you don't want data to be deleted, means there are one more option. If you observe in Hibernate, mm, if you observe here in hibernate.cfg.xml, here we go, we can you able to hear me? Sorry, my power got disconnected. Could you please reply quickly? Actually, I have connected through mobile data. My power is just power went off. Okay. If any issues, please feel free to message. Okay. Thank you. Uh, Instead, it will again insert the new. Okay. Let me go with one more new data. Okay. Let's create few records. Let's create few more records. Suppose consider I'm going with 700. I'm going with Matthew. Some salary, don't bother. Then John. But ID should be always unique. We should not go with again 600. Already 600 is there. It will throw runtime exception. Let me try to run, then I will explain you what I'm trying to say. So let's see here. Let's run it again. You will get exception because 600 is already there. Right? 600 already is there. You will get runtime exception. See here we got exception. What is the exception? It is simple because it's not primary key. Duplicate entry 600 already it's there. So we mentioned that column as primary key, right? So ID should be unique. Duplicate entry. We are getting right. That's why we should always go with unique ID. Okay. So we consider 100, 900. Okay. So John, Matthew, then let's go with one more name as Esther. Esther salary, some salary, but so the reference name different. OBJ3. So we need to store all the values, right? So OBJ2, okay. Now let's run it. Now we are trying to insert three data at one shot. So let me go back it. What we have done is we have tried inserting three records in our database. We have tried inserting three records. So when we have run this program, it inserted three records. Here you could able to see name, first record, second record, three records. Same like we are checking in the database. When we are checking in the database, so three new records got inserted. This 600 Govindaraj and this first record is we inserted in the previous program, right? So as part of this program, three new records got inserted. This is how we can go with insertion statement when we are using the Hibernate, when we are using the Hibernate. Okay. So everyone is clear? Any questions? Any questions regarding this? Please do reply. Have you understood how to insert, you know, 100% have I understood clearly, how to go with the Hibernate? So same thing you can follow, you will be, for sure, first time you will be facing many issues. Don't give up. You can try to run it. Only one time it will be the problem. You'll be having different exceptions. So you will be, having it. In case if you are not able to solve anything, please contact me. We will connect and I will try to help you resolve the resolve for running this, application. Everyone is clear about the concept? Memory space and all, no need to worry about it. Hibernate takes care of complete control. We no need to worry about anything. It will take care of everything, but performance will be little because Hibernate also, it is one more thing came, right? So we need to take care of that. Yes, let me quickly explain again one more time. People might be having issues here. These are the 4 steps. Okay. In Hibernate also, in JDBC also, if you are going for it, we'll be using this. What we will do, we will go with the session factory. This is just to, we need the session, right? Because we need to save the object, right? Session.save method, we need to use it. You are getting my point? So I will take exactly 5 more minutes. Okay, then we will wind up. So session.save, we need the session. For getting the session object, we need the factory, session factory. For getting the session factory, we need to call new configuration.configure.build session factory. This complete line is used to get the session factory. Once we get the session factory, then we can get the session object. How to get the session object? We can call factory.open session. Then once we get the session object, then we can get the transaction object. Why we need transaction object? To interact with the database. If you are saving or if you are inserting any record into the database, that is called one transaction, right? So we are getting the transaction. Now what we are doing, we can create any number of objects. Tomorrow we will experiment some more things in insertion. After creating the object, here we are not, doing anything. Here we are not, extracting the data. We are not forming the query. We are not sending to database. Nothing we are doing. What we are doing, simply we can call session.save. Internally, Hibernate developers, they developed one method called save, that is there inside a session. If you observe, let me open this session. This is an interface, right? This is the inbuilt code. Who developed this? This is developed by Hibernate developers. There is a company called Hibernate who developed this Hibernate framework. Here if you observe, there is a method called save method. Can you able to see the save method here? This method they developed it. We no need to worry how it is working and all. Simply we can call session.save to persist the data to database, right? Then we can, once we saved all the objects, then we can call commit method. Why we are using this commit method? After saving it, we need to end the transaction, right? We should not keep the connection open. We should end the transaction. So we can call tx.commit. Tx.commit, what it will do, it will commit this transaction and it will end the transaction, right? Again, if you want to say one more thing, again we need to start the transaction, begin transaction. Again we can persist the data. Any questions? See here, it is ORM tool. Hibernate, I said ORM tool. Hibernate is only used, okay, only used, to interact with the database, nothing else. Hibernate is the framework. It is only used to interact with the database, right? So we have seen like 3 things. One is we need to go with the pom.xml. We need to download these 2 dependencies for sure. Then hibernate.cfg.xml, we need to give all the Hibernate database things, right? All the database related configurations. Then we will go with one entity class, right? One entity class we will go with, and we will be creating the entity class, all the columns will be mentioning. Finally, we are going with one client class. Thanks everyone.